Losar Tashi Delay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and thank you for joining us for our Losar celebration. My name is Fanula, and I'm your host today. We have translation, interpretation for this event into Chinese, Japanese, Spanish, German, French, Russian, and Portuguese. You can select your channel using the interpretation button with the globe icon or the more button and select interpretation and choose your language. And thank you to all the English speakers joining us via YouTube, making space for non-English speakers in Zoom. For our Zoom participants, we will have a quick poll to see which language you were listening in. So if you could respond to the poll, please. Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. Now you can use the chat to say hello and let us know where you're joining from. And here in Zoom, you can use the Q&A, the questions and answers for any technical questions. On YouTube, use the chat both to say hello and for any technical questions. So our program today, we're going to learn about Losar, Tibetan New Year, and Tsok feast offering. And then together we will do a short Tsok. The Tsok text was in the invitation email. It will also be posted here in the chat, and we will also screen share during the practice. And you might also have a plate of food to offer and a drink for the Tsok. We're going to do a word cloud at the end. So if you have a second device, such as your phone, you will need it at that time. Okay, so today we're joined by Khenpo Kunga, Lama Trinley, and translator Adam Kane. So I invite you to turn on your cameras. Khenpo Kunga is a senior Tergar teacher. He became a monk at a young age, entered 3-year retreat when he was 15, and received his Khenpo degree from Losar College in India, having completed 11 years of studies. He's also taught at the Losar College and for a number of years, and is now based in Minneapolis, St. Paul in the US. Lama Trinley began his education at Tergar Monastery. At 17, he entered 3-year retreat and spent 6 years training in the monastic college of Tergar Monastery, where he also taught as an assistant professor. And Lama Trinley has been the resident teacher at the Tergar Mingyur Phoenix Center in Arizona, US, since November 2007. Adam Kane is a long-term Buddhist lay practitioner trained at Rangan Yeshe Institute as a translator, where he also studied Buddhist philosophy in Kathmandu. So, Khenpo, without further ado, I will hand over to you.
Okay, then Tomala Tombo Losar Tashi.
So I'd like to first begin by saying Losar Tashi Delay, Losar greetings to everyone.
Shidange number Sanji Pig, Tadruk Nan, Re, Tene Taganangin, Probage, Soju Nan, Re, Soju traditional now, and then Shawatan Lega Karendoshina, Toman Gotuyate, Hajang Gachimbotsiri.
So this sort of celebration is both within the Buddhist tradition itself and also within the Tibetan tradition. And so it's considered that this is an excellent time to begin any kind of project, any kind of activity.
데인드는 로사르 세드 로직에 두서 고주야라고 지게 차 산센라고 지인데 하장게 개침복에 두서지를 지게래.
As Losar is the beginning of the new year in terms of the way we count the year, it's a very important and special time, very sacred time.
데인드 데네 로사바지 로직에 두서게다 토만고주야게 두서라고 지인점 아는 디나랑 가서 레와당 말람당 미여당 아는 차상대 콜롱시아게 ngo라고 저 콜롱시아게 이제라고 쳐도 되는데 하장 개체모래.
And so, as Losar is the beginning of the calendar year for us Tibetans, it is a special time, a very important time to set our goals, set our intentions, to create aspirations and motivations for the coming year. And so, for all those reasons, it's a very important time.
And Tibet traditions na baba sojuke nala baba ke hietangras kawai karayoresena ani derenge duse losabeke nala sembake tola sonong yabuj ko kolong yabuj ko legake tola gewatang jinje shawa yabuj drogeba ina an chorang lo dela teke pachasena teke hujensena motolen rogre segre.
And also within the Tibetan tradition, as this is a time to create intentions, create goals, create plans, set our motivations and our aspirations, it is believed that there's a special power that these will be carried forth.
어때는데 존센 텔라테네 드랭아저용 토마 생토르 쟁고야라고 생토르 콜롬시고야라고 가르인스나다 로사바든 고토도 로디나랑에 랑크 셈르 다보야보제네 냐랭야보시야지 셈데 녀목 온도 마효와지야지 상치 당고야지.
And so also, Khenpo said a time for virtuous action, to do virtuous, meritorious actions. And therefore, as we begin this new year by setting our intention and our motivation, I'd like to invite us to begin with a very virtuous mind. First and foremost, the intention to guard our own minds well, protect our own minds, and not fall under the power of afflicting emotions, of kleshas.
아니 집에도 까만바게 송치여 지텐 치터 만나야나야 가서 된 드럼에로 시그래 지텐디 톨 녀르 몽보여레 강아 몽보여레 바치 몽보시여레 지텐디 그러 만나라고 쳐서나요 나랑서 그래 나랑 드럼에 춘시그서 그런지 거고래 스티커런데 카드 거고서나 로사반 고츠베 또 드린다고 되는 고츠도 거고래.
And as Karmapa has said, even if the world is in darkness, we can be like a small torch, like a small candle. And so the meaning of this is, even if the world is full of conflict, full of disturbance, if the world is full of darkness, we can form the motivation to be like a small torch, like a small butter lamp, a candle flame, illuminating in our own way. And we do this through our motivation. And so as this is Losar, as this is the new year, let us make this kind of aspiration that starting from today, we will be like lamps in the world.
어디 있는다 되게 로사반 고츠야키 가수를 듣는 게 제모래 되게 되네 시당게다 로사스야데 네 버바게다 두신지리 버바게 거네 데 하장게 게침부츠기래. Bebak Losa se.
And so, Lasula. And so also within the Tibetan culture, this is a big holiday. This is a big celebration, the New Year. New Year is a big deal in Tibetan culture. And so it's also that aspect is important, the celebratory aspect of the New Year.
어때 내가서 충충 임be 가서다 니마 순제 주저 하사지라 아니 드링이 두선데 레구시 되게 다 로사트 카도라다 로사 니마 장가츠네 고데야게 두신지레.
So, when I was young, for example, when we were young in Tibet, there was this, excitement around Losar, around the Tibetan New Year's. Like for a whole month or more, we would be very excited, waiting for it. What day is it? How many days until Losar? Oh, it's this many days. We would count down. It was this excitement of waiting for New Year.
어때 인데 되게 전에 가르스나 니마 드링다 로사가 니마 되라 아니 너무 정말 냠도 자야게 사야이나다 가야이나다 가레이나 미사시네 아니 지 계자지키나 양아서 같은 포지티브 계자 잠보자지키야마다 나는지 요다히 안 추바지야다 로사가 시니말라드는 정말 흘러라고 제보라고지 아니 너무 냠잠 그 초와든 요요삼 아니 뒤보고 춘춘 가서 화장실 가보시게.
And so, the Losar, the Tibetan New Year, would be, really a time to gather together with the family, a time to eat special food together, to wear your best clothes, and to really focus on, saying positive things. So, normally in a family, you might, there might be fights or quarrels and stuff like that, but we sort of set them down for Losar and focus on saying positive things, being in a joyous mood. And so it's really a time of gathering with the family, sharing, being together in the most positive way. And so I really have very special memories of this, because of course family is very important to children.
And the Naging other Travashine, Gambana Yabukasu, that Gumbaganala, Jintin Tambori, Jishi Chogomari, Nishi Chogomari, and other Kaduina Tamboshi Degur, that Losani model, and then other Soma Nyamzamchi, and a Toro down, Karina Zemoyo Zechoyaji, the Hajang, Jibuk Tora like you.
And so also, in the monasteries and nunneries, there's this, we live under fairly strict rules. You can't do this, you can't do that, kind of as part of the training. But in Losar, the New Year's, it's a time to really have fun and celebrate also. And so it's a really joyful, fun time of the year as well.
간다 나랑 응원이 계획이나 로사스야데 네 데지당 라옹 그 두세지 그 녀마선한다 데지다 라옹 그 롱스치버 그 거까지 근데지 중요가서 차대되는 로사를 가보요스.
And so personally, I can speak for myself. Losar for me really has association with joy, with being happy, joyful, and feeling free, a sense of freedom. And so this is something that I experienced when I was a child, and this association has stayed with me. And so that's personally my association with Losar. It's a time of happiness, of joy, and of freedom.
Then history Buddhism, Sanjika Nantaganani, that also Losar do. Nima Tombo Losa Nimani, the Nima Jonga, Sebajonga Padel, Chandra Dushin, Sanjika, Chandra Dayaka, Dushin, do, and then Gachim.
And within the the larger Buddhist tradition, also there's a from the Lunar New Year, for the first 15 days after that, after the Lunar New Year, which would be the first 15 days of the year, starting on Losar, is known as Chutrul Duchen, the holiday or a celebration of miracles, because this was a period of time where the Buddha displayed many miracles. And so it's also a very sacred time in Buddhist tradition.
이 산지게 난타가 나라 아니 산지게 두 치바지 이게 미사가 두 수이게 성요리.
And in the Buddha's life story, there are considered to be four major sacred times of the year, four major ones.
데네 두 치바지 이게 꾸이게 두도 성그 두도 토그 두도 아니 가든 지랭 두세야지. 되게.
And those four can be understood as the time, of enlightened body, the time of enlightened speech, the time of enlightened mind, and the time of showing great kindness.
데네 꾸이게 두세야데 전투투신스 꾸이게 돈에 전투템베게 두리 전투투신스 송그 토네 아니 중국어고 두신스 다다데 꾸이 돈 전투템게 두세데 나와 통보리 송그 토네 아니 추주콜로 거야데 나와 두반다고 저라 데네 토그 토네 아니 산제야 그 두신스 데 사가다와 제바 정한다고 그래 나와 예박 제바 정한다고 그래 아니 가진 지랭게 두데다 라바 두신스 나와 그바게 제바 얘기잖니 어때인데 대기에들 산재게 미사게 두셔 차대로 그래.
건다디 숭기 두친 추커 두친
다와 주 츠베야.
지 다와 주파 지 라슬라. And so the holiday, the special time of enlightened body is the celebration of miracles, because the miracles were, things that the Buddha displayed by means of his enlightened form, by means of his body. And so that's these 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of the lunar calendar. The time of enlightened speech is called Chukur Tuchen, the holiday of turning the wheel of Dharma, which commemorates the beginning of the teachings, the Buddha giving teachings of the Dharma. And that is the fourth day of the 6th month in the lunar calendar. And the time of enlightened mind commemorates the enlightenment, the day of enlightenment. The Buddha found complete full enlightenment as a Buddha. This is also called Sagadawa, and is the full moon of the 4th month, so the 15th day of the 4th month, commemorating the Buddha's enlightenment. And finally, the time of great kindness is known as Hlabab Duchen, which is the holiday of the descent from the God realm, and that is the 22nd day of the 9th month in the lunar calendar.
어때 이랬더니 다 최탐치 남가 토래 냠바니를 제바요 말이데 군조가 토래 땡지 최탐치 뜨고 됐더니 유어동 두세데 개첨바인데 두 제바제 차데데 디가서를 소소가 지 생각 토네 샴바다 니제다 게비케 삼바요 바나오치 룽아가 토네 게비케 레드바이나 미사게 판토 요바던데 산제가 노노나 son요바레.
And so, in the ultimate sense, there's no difference in different times of the year, different dates. There's no difference ultimately. But on the relative level, everything exists interdependently. Everything depends on other causes and conditions. And therefore, places have importance, and times and dates have importance. And therefore, in the relative sense, then, on these special days, forming motivations in our mind with love, kindness, compassion, and then following through with actions of our body and speech that are virtuous, that follow those loving intentions, is considered very beneficial, very important. And this is also taught in the sutras.
어때 이랬더니 아주 넘버 산제바게 진주지 산제게 lam temba ta do nyalan chege chi hindu ane tu cheba cha tandri tu cheba de tere chandra ta tu chen la ngara so sanje jesu tren sanje ga lam temba de so jesu tren ane de peshe de ta ne nyalan chege de hajang ga gechim bo do tu chen ji ngaso celebrate ya hyun ro de tere.
And so if we are, followers of the Buddha, if we are practitioners of the Buddha Dharma, then these special days, these sacred days, the four, great sacred days of the calendar year, such as these 15 days of Chochol Duchen, the celebration of miracles, and so on these days, to remember the Buddha, to bring the Buddha to mind, to remember the extraordinary deeds, the great magical deeds, and all of the extraordinary deeds, to remember the teachings, and mostly to practice the teachings, to set virtuous intentions, and to practice the Dharma. That is considered extremely important. And amongst all ways to celebrate these sacred days, it is the very best.
Okay, tigita tere Losar yimba zan mazi tene chandra dushen yindu dushen chiba chere se tene da tere dunde Losar de ngazo peba ke traditional zadang shina chuda si jongwa chula lo da kide de chuda si tene chige gere.
So in brief, this is a very sacred time of the year. Not only is it Losar, is it New Year? It's also part of one of the great holidays known as Chochol Duchen, the celebration of the miracles. And so it is a very sacred and important time of the year now. And so in addition to that, I'd like to discuss briefly about how the years, have their signs, so to speak, according to they have elements and they have signs associated with them astrologically.
Ote indu shidan ke lo te la lo kor junyin se senchen ke zog tsende yebe lo kor junyin ta jongwa nga shi de lo chuchu le chasang jin ko ga ta chuta se de lo chuchu ga na tema chi le yo de ne ta lo ta chuta kide no shre.
And so the way these are calculated is based on the combination of a 12-year cycle, where each of the years of the 12-year cycle have a corresponding animal sign associated with them. And in addition to that, they can each have one of the 5 elements. And so as they rotate through the 5 elements combined with the 12 animal signs, you have the full cycle of 60 years, 12 times 5. And so that's how they're generated.
Tati deso tsama ziri pa se ziri pa ka thola ndo tong chire tele de mambo yosari tengi ziri pa khira khei me te ta do de geche hyu ka sa nga zo tren lo de chodong ta ke lo yindu de ke tsam ra wo ji sonji ra wo ji ka sa na chose ya de ane jiten hidek senda ji ka do nga zo pe ya gre ane ta se de energy ro ji nuba ya ba ke senda ji ya de ane nga zo sen ka ra jang so na da lo de choda ka lo yin zam jiten hidela nuba ya ba ji jiten hide de nuba de dem ba ji ne jiten ji kan hide cha ta ba hyo hide cha ba lo ji yin jang ge sen ka to le cho ya ba shi go se
Dalo de chudak, ra? Chudak. Chudak. Water tiger, ra?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Want to make sure we get it right here. So this is all calculated according to astrology. And so astrology is a whole science into itself. And I don't know a lot about astrology, so I can't say too much about it. But what I'd like to just give as a sort of Dharma, interpretation, you could say, of this particular year that we're entering. So this is the water tiger year, and the water element, is associated with pacification and happiness. We could say, peace and happiness. And the tiger is associated with power, potential, capacity. And so, I feel that according to this water tiger year, we can sort of think of it dharmically as an occasion to aspire for peace and happiness in the world, for peace and happiness to spread in the world. And so to have the capacity for that. And so I think we should try to generate the feeling, the experience of that.
Losar said to say Khenpo Kunga res Gandhi Hubanda Indo, then Khenpo as a Berberg Losar traditional Losar de Chuga Tor Dongre, that Berberg Nyanan she had Hirashiki Matikanda, Chopa Puyare, Goar Jare, Mame Puya, that the Rector Zordong, the Rayan as a Losar de Chuga Tor the Diana, Tegaka, as a Chuga Tor Losar Diana, Yapondos.
And so in brief, I would just say that today is a sacred day. It is the New Year. It is also part of this celebration of the miracles. And, in Tibetan tradition, a lot of rituals occur during Losar celebration. Most sort of ordinary Tibetans don't necessarily know very much about inner Dharma practice. And so a lot of the celebrations and the Dharma activities are, things like making offerings, water bowls and things like that, offering, incense and various things like that. And here in our Tergar celebration, we're going to focus on Dharma practice, actually practicing the Dharma. And I think that's a wonderful way to celebrate Losar.
Losar Nyalang Tony Tongu, and Nyalang Karashigar said, Shadan Nyalang is Chazon, Jene, Lama Trinley, and Jihito, Nyamdela Garden Sugar, and the Momotihi Jagumare, and Itikana, Tombo, Nyalang as a Shiade, a Tsok Tony Shigure, Malam Tony Shigure, Mugita, Lamji Dutsik Tony Shigure, and Tsok Tol and the Hill and Toduch Jaguder.
And so as our Losar celebration, we'll focus on Dharma practice. Lama Trinley will guide us in the practice and also help explain the practice. And so because he will do that, I don't feel it's necessary for me to say very much about it.
Chodang, Lamji Dutis, Nectar part, and Malam, wish.
Malam, Lasa, Marme Mare, Malam. Lasala. So our main practice will be the Nectar of the Path practice, Tsok, like a feast offering, and making aspirations. And so I thought it would be useful to give a brief explanation of the Tsok, the feast offering practice.
Then that Tsok said it, Tsok Karisana, and together, Nyamzamchi, Tapjiri.
And so this term Tsok in Tibetan, it means gathering fundamentally. And so it's a way for us to gather together. And so there's many elements of this. There's the outer Tsok, the outer gathering, the inner gathering, and so on. But I don't think we need to go into all that. Fundamentally, it means to gather together.
Tombo Karendo Shishonsina, Hama Jagala, and discrimination Kuchimboyori. re yapore seanda de re dujare seanda wada de pore seanda na bomore se yenji ki sano pe mombu yore.
If we think about it, in ancient India, there was a lot of divisions within society, a lot of divisions amongst peoples. And so, there's the high caste people and the low caste people. And then there was the men and the women and so on and so forth. All of these divisions that divided people up.
Tene yenji ki sano ji yo chani zangde ani rewata toba de hyocheren ro gore. Rewata toba hyocheren ro 되게 jola ka do na ngazo donga ta kanga nyoda so de gero.
And when there's a lot of divisions like this amongst people, what that does is it really strengthens hope and fear. And when hope and fear become very strong, then it creates a lot of problems, a lot of difficulties between people.
Tene Buddhism ke tadrog tol karaki gerjena senchen choma le ye dewa hi bin bo yores. Senchen choma ge rangin ji bare la.
Ranjin chikpo, right?
Rangin ji bare la.
Chipare. And then within, the teachings, though, it really emphasizes that everybody has the same nature, the Buddha nature, the essence of awakening, the essence of the Buddha is identical in all of us. We all have the same nature.
What they in the Rangi Chipa in the Yenji Karashigors. Then the red zombo to ring embassy Kawayors. And then put a pomoli ewas career, Toma Chiba in there's a Toma Yan Zancho Jela, and then top Karashis and Tsok, said the Zeber.
Therefore, why is it that there's all these divisions? The high caste sort of peoples and low caste peoples, and the divisions between men and women and so on. Given that we all have this identical, same Buddha nature, and therefore a method to emphasize that fundamental sameness. And to all gather together as one is the Tsok, is the gathering, the feast gathering practice. It's a method.
What they ended in it, Toganala, another rate don't rugichi by your Mari, Mato don't rugichi by your Maripena, Chetan, Papata, and they tell you Yam the Togan of Hojo, Yam the Hone, Tolanaro she go to the summer.
And in the context of the Tsok, of the feast gathering, then everybody is welcome. Everybody is the same. No divisions, no discriminations are made. Any kind of caste or part of society, men, women, high, low, any of that, even animals and humans, dogs and pigs, if they show up, they're welcome in the feast. There's no discrimination, no divisions are made. Everyone gathers together.
And then there are nine get to do other Nyanda Zound, Kalala Chibache, and the Yabor, the Dujaris, the Zoma, the Zopas here. There's a one at 10 Tombadi, they look to cheaper stand, Zoma the Zopas, Mr. Shinju, so Karina Sagar, Karina allowed chickers, Sachobana.
And, ordinarily, in our ordinary lives, we make a lot of, judgments and distinctions on food as well, on what we, put in our bodies. And so, this is really good. This is really high quality. This is really bad or low quality. This is pure. This is impure, and so on and so forth. Those are very strong judgments and divisions we make. But in the context of the Tsok practice, the feast gathering practice, none of those judgments, none of those discriminations are made. Not pure, not impure, not better or worse, or really good or bad, none of that. Everything is viewed as equal according to its underlying true nature of emptiness, in which none of those divisions truly exist. And so in the context of the Tsok, you're allowed to eat everything.
소도 간라이나 냥도 두쳐야지 이와매 봐지 제 간르지나요 냥도 로쳐야지 제발매 봐지 근데 난게 토네 랑게 루마이 세야데 루게 토네 페나 루 대와지야다 루 쪼와용야가 치들라 간차야나 마가 토네 로라야나 보다 이게 토네 대동이 이게 줄지야나 보다 되게 탈라 초세요.
And so, outwardly, sort of on the outer level, we have this aspect of, any kind of food is allowed. Anything can be, eaten or drank in the context of a tsok, of a feast gathering, without any judgment or discrimination of pure, impure, and so on. So that is, everybody shares everything, and everything is allowed, sort of. And so that is the outer level. On the inner level, we have, in the body, if the body experiences bliss, great bliss and joy, that is something to be encouraged and to experience, to allow to happen. For the speech, if we want to, sing out a joyful expression in song, for example, express that, we're encouraged and allowed. And in the mind, the experience of, empty bliss, the wisdom of empty bliss, if that wells up in our mind, is also encouraged. And so this is sort of the spirit of the Tsok, we might say.
철랑게 샘게 난도게 레와도 도벌치니 가바도 두바시디게 마도바게 탱크에 내루게 토라 시연이 도보이나엔라 제 사야던 소야이나엔라 아니 롱아이에서 샤와도 쉬어봐 가르이나라 철랑게 모히도나 근데 처마데 대와도 동백이 저래서 대동 이히 제바게 타동 로스 차그리 대배셔도 호세나 초부터나 되래.
So, in brief, we sort of, the spirit of the Tsok, the kind of perspective or inner practice of the Tsok, is that, anything that we can, perceive outwardly, such as, anyone who is present is like a friend. Any kind of substance that is present, food, drink, and so on, is pure, is allowed. Any kind of sensation that occurs is allowed and encouraged. All of this is experienced as bliss and emptiness, as empty bliss, the wisdom, the timeless wisdom of empty bliss. Everything is allowed, everything is experienced in that way. That is really the inner spirit of the Tsok, of the feast gathering practice. And so, if you can recognize it, all phenomena are the essence of great bliss. They are not the essence of suffering.
어때인데 되게 럼버치가 초 디나마에 사보송 추탐지 젬바가 토르 요르 추탐지 젬바가 나오는 추탐지 감크토 추탐지 아니 탁토 추탐지 내로 똑바던 대동 이히제부게 아니 저래 있었는데 럼버치 토고 나와서
And so this is according to Rinpoche's instructions. Rinpoche says, if embraced with awareness, if held in awareness, then all phenomena are the helpers of our practice. They become support for our practice. They become support for awareness. They become support for empty bliss and timeless awareness, our deepest wisdom. This is taught by Rinpoche in the Tsok practice.
냐나집을 가서요. 말아서는 냥도 장요리 아니 제 정말 냥장 그는 거지. 아니 정말 이꼴라 지주스 라냠 그는 거더니 아니 정말 레도미 그는 거더상 아니 정말 대단한 이게 토를 냐는시야스는데 디토런도에 어떤데 누가 이게 냠장다 라냠다 레도 메바다 아니 대단한 이게라로 발라 초 세대 냐는 여대연로 그래.
Hmm. And so we are all gathered together here. We're all gathered, as a Tsok gathering, and so that's one thing. And then whatever substances we've brought, whatever offerings, substances are present, are part of it, and we see all of each other as equal. We're all equals in this context. And so there's that element. We're also remaining, our mind is remaining without hope and fear. And everything is experienced as empty bliss, as the timeless wisdom of empty bliss. And so these are this sort of the powers, the capacities of a Tsok practice, and those are meant to be present here now as we practice together.
어때? 근데 다저때 냐는 토를 또 냐는 나로체 다때 라만트네게 데마 냐는 시당 그탑 스나 가든 시네 마트기리 가이드 인지르다.
Also tandago sukru.
랭고 주기리 강한테는 런지트 돈 초도 된거 주기리.
So with that said, I'd like to invite Lama Trinley to please guide us in the practice of the Nectar of the Path and the practice of the Tsok.
Tashidele, everyone, and today, can you hear me? Okay. Today's special day, that's Tibetan New Year, so I would like to greetings to everyone. That's Tashidele, and you all have in this new year able to practice well and will be healthy and happy, and whatever you wish in this year will fulfill. So here, as what Khenpo also mentioned, that's year of the Losar celebration. That's a year of the beginning, kind of. So firstly, important that set up some motivation or try to make something that's positive thoughts. That is something crucial and important. So therefore, today I also will lead some kind of practice. That's a Nectar path and Tsok. So before we're going to begin this, as always say, that whatever you do, this good or bad is depend on your motivation. So we are going to set up some motivation or cultivating some motivation, positive motivation. So here, just try to sit and meditation pause and be present. No need to think of past and future. Just be present. Relax your body, but just only the spine straight. Now check your motivation. Generating bodhicitta. That I'm going to practice here benefit to all sentient beings. Get happiness. Happiness of temporary and samsaric happiness. And also ultimate happiness, which is liberation, enlightenment. For that, in order to get those, have to have some positive deeds, positive causes. So I am going to creating the positive deeds and causes of happiness. For that, I'm going to take refuge to Buddha Dharma Sangha, which means also order to accumulating positive deeds for liberation is follow the Buddhas, as Buddha Dharma, practicing Dharma. Through that, you're able to liberate. Therefore, I'm going to follow the Buddhas. Buddha is my guide or teacher. Dharma is my path to the liberation, path to the get happiness. Sangha is companions who are follow those path to the Dharma path. Or also, Sangha is a supporter, gives us encouragement or role model. So I'm going to be like a great bodhisattvas, those who able to helping all sentient beings. So start today, I'm going to become like Avalokiteshvara, who are helping all sentient beings. I'm going to be like Buddha Shakyamuni, who is able to lead all sentient beings' liberation. I'm going to do that. May I able to do it. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas bless me that I able to do it. Therefore, I am going to practice here now, Nectar path. Use Nectar path textbook for firstly, our mind turns towards to the Dharma. That's we use for thoughts, and then Dharma become a path. We use that refuge in bodhicitta. And so on and so forth. So where I'm going to changing this. So just follow the textbook. Whatever textbook says, it become like that, thinking like that way. If you don't understand too much in textbook. If you understood, try your best to think about whatever textbook says. So I will also read a little bit. So here now, begin by cultivating a sense of delight in the quality of the freedom and riches.
Seeing its many wonderful qualities, I rejoice and delight in this human life.
Think of that meaning. And rejoice that you have a precious human existence, wonderful life, wonderful body. It's very difficult to get it. In order to get this, lot of accumulating merit, lot of great good deeds needed. So this time I able to get it. I'm going to make it meaningful life. And may I able to make it meaningful. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas bless me that I able to do it. Next, contemplate the impermanent nature of phenomena.
Like waves in the ocean, all things are impermanent. I will accept whatever happens and make it my friend.
Thinking of that meaning, that although I got precious human existence, very wonderful, powerful, lot of good things I got it, whatever you have. But this one is impermanent. It will lose sooner or later. Whatever you have wonderful things right now, it may well lose. Or even you have some difficulties right now, you know that this is also impermanent. It will change. So however, whatever in this life, whatever happens, whatever you have experiencing, good or bad, I'm going to use it as meditation. I'm going to use it support for the parties. May I able to do it. Please bless me, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Contemplate the interdependence of causes and conditions.
When causes and conditions come together, a result is sure to follow. So I will do my best to help others and engage in positive deeds.
Think of that meaning again. So whatever experiencing that's positive, negative, happiness, difficulties, all is because of the previous karma, or I already creating karma. I already created causes of it. So all are just I made it. So knowing that how feels like happiness, how feels like difficulties, that I should creating causes of happiness and avoiding the causes of the difficulty, which is negative deeds. Since from now, I'm going to accumulating some positive deeds. And wish that I able to do it. And I am going to creating positive deeds only. I'm not going to create any negative deeds. I wish that I able to. And I'm going to kind of make a promise that I'm not going to accumulating any negative deeds because I don't want to suffer. And may Buddhas and Bodhisattvas bless me that I able to do that, my promise. Contemplate the dreamlike quality of the suffering of samsara.
The suffering of beings is mainly produced by the mind. I must free myself from my self-created bonds.
Think of that meaning again. In the samsara, they have nothing true happiness. Everything is suffering. Suffering of pervasive, and suffering of changing, and suffering of suffering. These three types of sufferings all the time. They have no beyond that in the samsara. So today, I'm going to go beyond the samsara. I'm going to liberate it from samsara. And I'm going to lead all sentient beings liberating from samsara. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas bless me that I am able to do it. Bring to the mind three jewels, the guide who will free you from the ocean of samsara's suffering.
Three jewels, undeceiving and everlasting sources of refuge. Please be the guide, the path, and the companions for myself and all beings.
Thinking of that meaning. That's you imagine, if you're able to. That's front of you on the space, Buddha Shakyamuni, or Buddha Vajradhara, Vaitara, whichever you like. In the front, surrounded by all the bodhisattvas, all the sanghas. And thinking that I'm going to follow them. Buddha as my guide or teacher, Sangha as companions, role model, or supporter. And Dharma is my path. I'm going to follow the Dharma. I'm going to take that as my path. So Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please lead me and all sentient beings to the liberation, enlightenment. Think it that way and chant refuge, pray. Oi Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, 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 Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Tendai Jamne Rong La Zuba De Senye De Khenpo Ye Song Ji.
The ultimate refuge is perfectly complete within me, for my mind is Buddha nature, enlightened from the very start.
Thinking of that meaning, that's imagine that whatever you imagine in front of you as Buddha Shakyamuni, Vajradhara, or Vaitara, whatever, and those sanghas dissolve to the middle, the Buddha Shakyamuni. Example, if you Visualize Buddha Shakyamuni. And Shakyamuni dissolve to the light dissolve to you, and all sentient beings get blessings. And that blessing helps you to recognize your own nature. Your nature and Buddha and Bodhisattvas are same. And rest in that state. Next, meditating on loving kindness and compassion by thinking of all the infinite number of beings as members of your own family. Recognize that they share your wish to be happy and free from suffering.
I feel compassion for all the beings who, like me, want to be happy and free from suffering.
Thinking of that meaning again. They're all sentient beings, all mother sentient beings, as the same as me, that's wishing to have a happiness and free from suffering. So may all sentient beings have happiness and causes of it. May all sentient beings free from difficulties and causes of that. This thinking that to every sentient beings, close ones, difficulties, or neutral, all sentient beings equally, that everyone, may everyone have happiness and free from difficulties. May I able to help all sentient beings have happiness and free from difficulties. And I am going to make it. I'm going to help all sentient beings have happiness and free from difficulties. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas bless me that I am able to do it. Generating bodhicitta, thinking to yourself, I will practice on the path to the bring all the infinite number of beings to the state of Buddhahood.
To bring all beings to the state of omniscient Buddhahood. I will now practice the path.
Think of that meaning. That's it, generating bodhicitta. As we already generating compassion, that I'm going to help all sentient beings have happiness and causes of it, and help them to free from difficulties. So now, the real happiness, real free from difficulties is only enlightenment in Buddhahood. So I am going to help all sentient beings get that state, enlightenment and Buddhahood. Therefore, I am going to practice Dharma. The Dharma is only path to the enlightenment. So I'm going to go that path in order to help sentient beings and able to help all sentient beings. I have to get that enlightenment. Then I able to help all sentient beings. Buddhas, Bodhisattvas bless me that I able to. In that space before you, imagine your own guru in the form of Vajradhara or whichever Buddha inspires you.
Think of me, O Guru. In essence, you are equal to all the Buddhas, but in the kindness you have shown me, you are even greater.
Thinking of that meaning, imagine that in the space above you or front of you, whichever you're comfortable. That's a form of Vajradhara or Vaitara, whichever you like. The essence is your guru. Guru, that's whoever or how many, their essence the same. One Vajradhara or Vaitara. And then pray to him or her. That's Guru bless me that I able to recognize my own nature and I able to get enlightenment in order to help all sentient beings. I'm going to practice here right now. I know you have compassion, wisdom, and you're always looking after me. Because of my ignorance, couldn't feel, couldn't see, even you teach and taught. I didn't understood well, and I couldn't practice well. So now here, I'm going to practice. I'm going to try to understand your point. So blasphemy that I able to recognize and I able to realize it. And I able to help all sentient beings introduce this. Thinking like that way and pray to Guru. O Lama Jeno, 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 Lama Jeno. Imagine that the Guru melt into the light and dissolve into you, your mind merging indivisibly. Can you change? Okay.
Ultimately, I am the same as the Guru in essence, for the nature of the student is the same as that of all the Buddhas.
Thinking that's the Guru, because of the we pray to him, that Guru melt into the light dissolve to you, and your mind and Guru's mind are indivisible, and rest in moment of death. To conclude, let the mind rest naturally without meditating yet, undistracted, in the state in which you, the Guru, and the Buddhas are indivisible in essence. Maintain the flow of the mind to nature, ordinary, just as it is. Yirme ma ju rombe nyume ki ma ye ma gan zo me ronga ma riba ronye ronge ngondo da.
My mind inseparable from the minds of the Guru and all the Buddhas. I rest naturally, without fabrication, in my basic nature, not meditating and not distracted, in uncontrived ordinariness. Awareness relaxes into itself.
Think of that meaning, or just be, and that's a peasant of Guru resolution to you, and your mind, and the Guru's mind or Buddha's are indivisible. You already think of that, so state of that, try to be with it. Continuously. If any thoughts, cessation, whatever comes, let it come. But just notice or be aware of it. If they have nothing, just being resting, just be with it. Stillness, be with stillness. So however your mind changing or moving, be aware of it. If your mind is stillness, no moving, no any actions, just be aware of it. So long as you are able to do that, then you are state of meditation. This meditation will be also shamatha meditation or vipassana meditation. It depends on how you recognize, how you meditate, or which level you are. Okay. Dedication. With the Buddhas of the three times and 10 direction, along with their aspiring as your witness, dedicating the virtue to the welfare of others. I
dedicate all the virtue I have gathered throughout the three times, along with the virtue of the victorious ones, the bodhisattvas, and all beings, following in the footsteps of the Buddha and their heirs, to the lasting happiness of all the infinite number of beings.
Thinking of that meaning again, that's a dedication. That's the dedication is within your continuously stay the meditative awareness. With the dedication is the best. If they cannot, then imagine that Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and 10 direction, they are stay in the present front of you, and whatever we accumulating in this time and past and present and future, all that merit gathered together and dedicated to the Buddhahood are same as all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas dedicated. Think it that way. Okay, now it's a feast offering. So I have some little bit prepared things for the offering. So something like this. You know, that's Khenpo says that's something that's good or bad, whatever. It's equally we are participating and offering. So here also, some people don't like the sweet. some people don't like to bitter. So anyway, all equally we're going to practice. Anyway, this is just joking. Anyway, here now we're going to practice that. Firstly, we're going to purifying that what the unclean things, dirty things, purified. That's the first 4 sentences. So you know that's unclean, unpure, which is a dualistic attachment. That is the unpure. So this is not nature we are creating, and something that's not existed in the nature. So we're going to purify that. The ones you purified this dualistic or attachment, when you purify it, that's to the emptiness. The emptiness will be the full of everything. So we are accumulating that everything, as what textbook says, that it will be transforming for the wish fulfillment of the 6 realms of the samsaric sentient beings, which fulfills, and all the 10 directions, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So that's also the this fifth offering helps all sentient beings recognize their own nature and get enlightenment, so on and so forth. So that's one we're going to follow by the textbook. So now we're going to chant here. Oye ne tabe ron kere sa yen yon la je de me de jin yin je ron za le zo zen de yen nong kai gong om me a hong om me a hong om me a hong. English.
From timeless, pristine self-awareness, the clear realm of ineffable experience, as the self-display of compassion and great bliss, pleasurable offering substances fill the sky.
Imagine that this offering, the whatever we showing, this one is transforming into the all kind of offerings that whichever, whatever, whoever wish, whatever, they make a wish fulfillments. That's kind of something special. That's we call the nectar, transforming into the nectar. That's a nectar, or these offerings. Whoever get, they purified their own bad karma obstacles and recognize their own nature and get whatever they wish, something that kind of some offerings. Thank you. That, and then now we're going to inviting the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and all sentient beings for the offering this. Ma do wan ge dong ma nyo. English one more than this.
May the beings that fill all of space dwell in the great natural presence of the qualities of wisdom, love, and ability, the inseparability of emptiness, clarity, and ease. For in not realizing this, we experience suffering.
ye te je rong o hi pe zo shang ba jin ben ro gan de ni je jin be gan la zhang dong nyang jin be jia pan zha zong en zhen do len de be re do me be yan su gong non se de ne zhou ba lai rong o rong ge ma ye ya nga da ni se me be ge pon long me be yan su da tan jin jin be yan tin zuo ji ba jin be nyang ba ro. English.
Thus, this feast of recognizing our true nature brings all guests together with great love. It is prepared for them with great compassion. And with great equanimity, there is no victory and no loss. It sates their desire in the space free from hope and fear, beyond concepts that fixate on good and bad. We confess that we have not recognized our true nature. Within the primordial freedom of all that appears and exists, we liberate the obstacles of I and dualistic grasping into the space that is free from acceptance or rejection. With great joy, we impartially savor this feast of the qualities of omniscience.
Imagine that those all sentient beings and all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, we offer this fit offering, and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas kind of satisfied and give blessings to all sentient beings, recognize their own nature. Those who are in the samsaric classes, sentient beings, get this fit offering, purify their bad karma obstacles, and recognize their own nature, generating love and compassion. Think it that way and change. Nga don zhe be la ma na da zong ye zo ngong de zhou rong o ye be zong quan de ka jian zhou wa zhou nu xiu.
The residue of our mistakes and confusion is freed in a state of pristine purity, perfected from the start. May this feast offering of realizing our true nature be able to free the beings that fill all of space.
Thinking of that meaning, that's whatever we are mistakes, whatever we have accumulating bad karma, going to purify it through this feast offering. And wish that I able to help all sentient beings get enlightenment. Those sentient beings also once they get enlightenment, they help also many countless of sentient beings. Wish that, pray that. Now it's going to dedication. That's whatever accumulating merit through the nectar part and feast offering. We're going to dedicate it to Buddhahood, get enlightenment, order to help all sentient beings. And also we're going to dedicate it to the world peace. They have no any disease, disasters, and wars. Everything will be peace and calm and everyone, all sentient beings, mind turns towards to the Dharma, I would say compassion, loving kindness, and there will not be any harmful things in the world. For that, we're going to dedicate our merit. Think it that way and chant.
By this merit, may all obtain omniscience and defeat the enemy wrongdoing. From the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death, from the ocean of existence, may all beings be free.
Also, our merit dedicated to the long life. That's our precious Guru. And also in the world, whoever able to help sentient beings will be last long life. And all the Dhamma activities and all the benefitive activities in the world, those will be success and no have any obstacles for that. Think that way and chant here. Mingyur Rinpoche Toje doje her kadani Tenda la mezoje narowa Rimban some te ye shabden so.
As the expanse of simplicity, the unchanging space of reality, may your enlightened Vajra mind, embodiment of the Haruka, manifest in the form of the Guru until the end of time. Peerless guide, may your life be long.
Okay, thank you and happy Losar.
Thank you so much, Lama. And now we're going to move to our aspirations. So if you have your second device handy, we're going to put the slide for the word cloud. So to enter the word cloud, you can simply scan the QR code you see now on the top left of the screen, or in your browser, you can go to slido.com and put in the code. And once you're on the word cloud, you can start typing in your wishes for the world. If you don't have a second device, please add them to the chat and we will add them to the word cloud for you. There are many different wishes on our screen. I can see the biggest of all is for peace, kindness, wisdom, compassion, love. And Khenpo, if I could ask you to bless our wishes and send them out into the world for us.
Okay. Then I the other day in that Tadanga Simba Tin as a Jay Rewatan Malam de and Robaho Samba Tone and then see Jola Lajalo Layate, then that Carisana, the kind positive things the Toyanawash.
Gona, positive things.
The Lajalo like that,
Marila.
then that's your
Oh, any positive things did by Jaya?
Toyachi, Duchatanjili,
Oh,
Jawarchi, as a
so.
Gavik lay, head up, and he hide Shambata Nijit as a Nyamambale Jayachi, Dongale Jayachi, Gangale Jayachi, Chasas Lajalo, say Nyamda, Loud, Kitchembujin.
Lasso. So, in that way, please, all of these aspirations, these virtuous aspirations, in order to accomplish them, in order that they may be pervasive and successful and accomplished just as we've aspired. We can use this Tibetan term, Hla Jalo, sort of, may the divine be successful. May the divine qualities be victorious. May the deities be victorious. That sort of thing. It's a sort of an expression. Hla Jalo. And we're going to say it really loud. And this basically means may all positive things be accomplished well. All our virtuous intentions, compassion, love, wisdom, and insight, may they all be successful and victorious over our troubles, over our difficulties and struggles. And so we're going to say it loud.
Dada jiten kanga chehu manchu ne sam jobo cheyaji manchu meba chayaji sen trene manajayi.
And so in particular, the biggest problem in the world right now is this war that has broken out. And so in order to pacify this war, pacify the violence and the conflict, let us make aspirations together for this.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Lajalo.
Lajalo.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Khenpo. And that concludes our program today. Thank you, Khenpo Lama, for joining us. Thank you, Adam, and all our other translators for translating. Thank you to the TI staff for organizing and supporting. And thank you all so much for joining us on Zoom and YouTube for this Losar celebration.